make it a brighter place. It'll take creation, imagination. Try to draw outside the line. Let us see inside your mind. You'll find inspiration. All I'm saying is you can do it. I wanna hear you say.
Hey everybody, this is Tina with Loving Life Soul Blessings, and welcome to Memory Keeping Friday. Today we're going to be talking about Project Life and some different things that I've been doing and some different ways to deal with all the memorabilia, and especially when it comes to vacations or special trips that you're taking, and how do you fit it all in? What do you put in your album? I have my album right over here. I'm going to pull that up and we're going to chat about it. But I just want to mention that you can head over to my website by just clicking right up top here. It'll take you right over to the coordinating blog post, and I do have some photos of some digital layouts that I've done using the Project Life app, and they're just the photos there on the website that you can see what I've done as I talk about how I'm going to be using that app in our album. So here is our album. This is our family album. If you are new to my channel, then I'll just fill you in a little bit. I do a weekly spread is what I currently do. It's kind of propped up here, so it's kind of a little difficult to see, but we'll just manage for a second. So I do a weekly spread. So you can see right here is a title card that is weekly, and then I do our everyday photos, and then for anything extra that we do, anything special that comes up, I do inserts, okay? And then that's just kind of how I still do our everyday photos, but then I will do a special insert for anything that is going on. Now this is currently how I have been doing things. Before I started using the Project Life app, like this is the week 39, and then we went to our county fair, and so that was an insert. It was just a Design P insert, and then this was the rest of our week. So typically that's how I've been doing things. I really enjoy doing the Project Life album in a weekly format. I really feel like it is a good fit for me in the sense that I like memory keeping, so it really challenges me to dive deeper into our life and take more of our everyday photos. However, you can see I'm very behind. I haven't done anything since the end of July. I mean, I have some photos in, and then I have cards slipped in because I set my album up ahead of time, but I've not done my weekly cards. My calendars aren't filled out. I just ordered 450 photos, and I'll be ordering more before the end of the month because I know when I was going through and grabbing photos to print, I did not get all my photos. I was really in a hurry. So here I have my week 36 set up, and no, my week 37, and I had quite a few trips in September, so I have quite a few things in here that will be inserts, and this was right around the time the Project Life app was coming out. So I really wasn't sure exactly how I would use the app. I purchased the app and I love the app, but I really wasn't sure exactly how I would use it. And then I realized it would be really easy to use the Project Life app to do my inserts for anything special that's going on, anything that is a special trip, or something that I would usually use as an insert. I could do that on the app and then just have that printed in 12 by 12, and it would cut down on the bulk of my album, because you can see, maybe, well, not so much in this one, but in my first part of the year, you can see when you look at it all the different inserts in here and how much bulk it adds to my album. So I've made a decision for next year. I'm going to switch and do a monthly overview of our Project Life album. So instead of doing it weekly, I'm going to do it monthly, and I'm going to see how that works, just because I'm having a hard time keeping up. It's not necessarily that I don't like doing it weekly, it's just something has to give. So I'm gonna try doing it monthly. I'm gonna try doing our inserts on the app, which is awesome. The Washington, D.C. layouts that you see on my website, I did all of those. I did all of the layouts while we were still on vacation. So on the plane on the way home, in the hotel in the evening, I totally was able to do that. And then I felt good, like, oh, this is already done. Like I could just come home and get stuff printed. So this, what you're looking at right here is just, I got this, you can get this at Michael's, and I have 2 of them and they stack together. That's why this is kind of wobbly, because it has the pegs in it. So these stack together, and this is the very top one, and this is where I throw all of our memorabilia for our album. So this is a question that I get asked a lot. What do I put in our album, and where do I keep it? How do I keep it organized? So this little slot is where everything goes, and I've had a basket or a spot since I started Project Life. This has always remained the same. The container has changed, the space where I keep it has changed, but the idea has not. So I just dump all of our memorabilia in here. When I get photos printed, I throw them right up here, and then that way when I can get to my album, I just bring this whole thing, I set it on my table, and then I get my supplies out, and then I just do it. So you can see that there's some stuff in here that needs to go into our album that's just normal memorabilia. And then there's some, this is Andrew's. So he recently had a birthday, and this is some stuff that I want to put in his album. This is some stuff that Kayla did, and she knows if she wants it to go in her Project Life album, she just throws it up in this basket. I didn't even know these were actually here. So that's just kind of everyday stuff. And then you can see right here, I have school photos. I just put them in a little bag. I cut them up, put them in a little bag, threw them in here. And here's school stuff for her that I threw in here. So then as you get down here, you see that the majority of this is all from our trips. From my Founder Circle trip, and then also from our DC trip. My Founder Circle trip was just a lot more like personal stuff. It was a lot of, you know, receipts and my badge, my room number, my luggage tags, you know, it was really stuff that was just probably not really interesting to anybody else. My airline ticket, that kind of stuff, all that is in there. But the Washington, D.C. vacation, that is something that is probably more interesting to my whole family, and there's a lot more of it. So I wanted to show you guys some tips that I did while I was in D.C. that are going to help to do my album. So for my Washington, D.C. trip, I am planning on doing a mini album. I will do a few inserts in our family album, but then I'm planning on taking all the photos, and just because that was a very special trip, I want all the physical photos, and I want to be able to do something with all the memorabilia, and it obviously won't fit into our family album. With my Washington, D.C. trip, all of this kind of stuff will just go into a memory box, and then I'll do the digital pages, and I'll do an insert into our family album, but all of this stuff, it won't really matter. I'll take a photo of it and do it into an insert or something like that. It's not really necessary for all that kind of stuff to be in our album. So one of the things that I did while we were in Washington, D.C. is I was constantly, it was just in my mind that I would document the trip somehow. So I was constantly looking for items to put in our album or into an album, items to help make it easier when I would take photos of you know, monuments or memorial things. I would always take a photo of the description. There was always like, there would be a display, and then there would be like a description a little stone or a little display or something, and I would take a photo of that so that I could remember exactly what was what, because I don't have a great memory when it comes to taking all the photos. And so I knew once I got home, I mean, I took 200 and something photos of our trip for 2.5 days. So there's a lot of photos that I have to dig through and look at and see. So I was always trying to think, what's going to make this easier for me when I sit down with all these photos? So this was a great thing. These are cards, and you can see they're a great size. And these cards were in a lot of the gift shops that we would go into, and they were free to take. I didn't steal them. They would be in a little display, and they would say, take one. And there's tons of them. I just grabbed every single one that we would come by. I would grab, and I would just stick it in a case, and I would say, okay, I'm gonna look at this later and see what I can use and what I can't use. But like, here's one, George Washington's sword, and it's like this little fact or whatever about that thing. Here's one that the White House, so it has some facts about the White House, the address, that kind of thing. So this card I will pair with my photo of the White House. Okay, so then all I have to do is date it, or I mean, the whole album will be about when we're there. So it cuts down on what I have to do as far as journaling or documenting. And then it's very nice. These cards are very nice. They look nice. They'll go with the album really great. So I got a ton of those. So that was great. The other thing that I did, and this is a huge tip, I purchased this. It was $9.95. There are 31 postcards in this little book, and they're pretty much major. Like, this is the Jefferson Memorial. This is the Supreme Court building. This is the Washington Monument, the White House. So there's a lot of these photos in here that I will use throughout my album. Now, yes, I did get photos of us at the Washington Monument. So yes, there'll be photos of us there. But one thing that I really think is helpful when you're on a vacation or you're sightseeing is I didn't tend to worry about these photos that I would get of this, because I just knew I was going to pick up a postcard. This photo is much prettier than anything that I would ever be able to get. It's a professional photo. So I just worried about getting photos of us, of having a good time, and not so much worried about this great photo. How can I get this beautiful photo of the Washington Monument? Because I just knew it's a lot easier to pick up a postcard. So I went ahead and picked this up in one of the gift shops. And like, see, here's the Lincoln Memorial that we were at. And the photo when we were at the Lincoln Memorial, it was very early in the morning and the sun was just coming up. And so two of the photos that I have of us at the this memorial are almost silhouette-like because the lighting was not good, and I asked somebody else to take a photo of us. And so then later when I was looking through the photos, I was like, oh, that's not a very good photo of us. So the great thing is that I'll use this in my layout, and then I'll just put the photos of us, and it's kind of dark and we're kind of almost silhouette type photo, and I'll just say it was bad lighting, somebody else took the photo, but this is where we were at. And then I have a beautiful photo of what it is. And then I have a couple photos of us in front of this. And so I'll put that in too. So you can see that that makes it really easy, and I just wasn't stressed about getting perfect photos. So the other thing is that I kept receipts. So I kept, and then, let's see what this is. I don't even know what this is. Magazine. My husband's really good about grabbing memorabilia for me so that we have it in our album. I had pillow gifts and such that I got. I took our room key. We were able to keep our room key. This was the map, a map that we used quite a bit, and I will actually cut this down and I will use this in my album. So that's another perfect, and the mini album that I do. That would be a perfect thing. My husband was really great about grabbing all of these wherever we went, visitor guides, and I will really just open these up and I will just cut them up and use them however I need to use them for the photos that I have. Some of them I can keep if I need to, but I always just look at these kinds of things as items that I'm going to cut up and use. I kept receipts of all the museums that we went to. We went to the Air and Space Museum. We went to the American History Museum, that kind of thing. And then our plane ticket. And then this was the tour we went on. So this was all the different stops. I'll use that. And it'll just be cut down and put into pockets. So that is how I tackle really big, you know, vacations or trips, inserts. That's kind of what I do. And that way I can get them into our album. And I'm really big about just cutting stuff down and putting them in pockets. I don't worry about if I want to keep it the same size. I mean, sometimes you want to keep it the same size, so there's great 6x12 page protectors, there's the big envelopes that you can use, but really for the most part, I really like cutting things down, putting them in the pockets, pairing them with my photos. We rode the subway at one point, and there was a little map of the subway, and I will cut out just the map portion of the subway so you can see what it is, and I'll put that in the pocket, and I'll pair that with the photo of us in the subway. The other great thing that I love doing is using my phone, and I took a screenshot of the weather, my weather app. So I took a screenshot of what the weather was like that day. I also downloaded a app called Map It. And what you do is you download the app and then you start it, and then it tracks everywhere you're walking. And then when you're done, you hit stop, and then it shows you on a map, it maps it. It gives you the route that you went. And so I did that for the second day we were there. I didn't think about it until the second day. So I did it the second day, and it was really fun to see. And then I did a screenshot of it, and I'll print it. And it showed everywhere we walked, because we walked all over in Washington, D.C. And it tells you like how far you walked and, you know, in mileage. And so that will be a great little memento to keep about how we walked all over. So anyways, I hope that helps you guys, gives you guys some ideas. If you have any questions about anything more specific that I do, just leave a comment. Email me, of course, and I'm happy to share with you guys more of what I do. If I've not covered it, I'm happy to do another video to show you guys a process or whatever. So thanks so much for coming by and checking out how I do this. I hope you guys have downloaded the Project Life app. I think it's really amazing, and it's going to cut down a little bit of work for me with these inserts, with things that aren't so big. Our vacations last month were a little bit, you know, there was a little bit more to them. So anyways, thanks guys for coming by, and I will talk to you later.